Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Reganelite here with another Snowflakes Talks. And today I have with me a very special guest here. This is Terry Regan, the Plymouth Activist for social justice and a campaigner. Terry, how are you doing today?
I'm good, thank you. Yeah, how are you?
I'm very good, thank you. Thank you for giving your time for today. Obviously, this won't be as long as some of my other ones, guys. It'll be a bit shorter, about just roughly around about half an hour before for us, guys. But I wanted to start with this with Terry just telling us a little bit about yourself and about what you about a bit about your channel as well, if you can, for us, please.
Yeah, so I have a small channel. I just put videos on whenever I feel like, just do news and stuff. I've had a few rebrands. I had like videos on it years ago as well, doing different things. Not knowing what to put on and that. So recently I've just been just whatever's reporting on the news, I just do whenever.
So it's a case of when something comes up, maybe if you feel passionately, a bit more passionately about wanting to talk about it, you'll talk about it. Because obviously you've had that since 2013. So you've had that channel.
Yeah, it's really old. Years.
Yeah. Excuse me. He had 160 subscribers. So, it's still pretty good. But yeah, I saw there obviously on there, like your last video was like 6 months ago, but your oldest one on there was from 6 months ago.
Yeah.
There, but it's just a case of whenever you get time, basically, outside of what you do, to sit and actually talk about things. Tell us a little bit about, if you can, the social justice campaign and some of the work that you do, for us here.
Well, recently, basically, most Saturdays I'm just on the Palestine rallies in town.
Mm-hmm.
I do animal rights as well, although that hasn't been happening recently. That's been doing that for about nearly 10 years.
Yeah,
I've been vegan for 8 years.
So, but is it fair to say that we'll just dive a little bit into it? So obviously what's been happening in Palestine is obviously in Gaza obviously has been absolutely horrific. But is it fair to say that you've always been long before, before October the 7th as well? Is that something you?
Oh yeah, absolutely,
yeah. So pretty much for quite a long time you've been involved in the campaigns here for fighting for justice for those out there.
Yeah.
And obviously, other social justices as well, like human rights and animal rights. Tell us, as you said, something that you've always been campaigning for as well for quite a long time as well.
Yeah. I used to go on the Corbyn rallies and quite a few times when he was Labour leader, and the anti-austerity marches and anti-Tory marches, things like that.
Have you been doing that? Have you always been that pretty much all your life, or has it been something like is when you were younger? Like, have you always been into
probably been more politically active only in the last 10 years or so.
Yeah. What changed over the last 10 years? Yeah, that made you more active. Do you think it is?
It's kind of because obviously I was living in care for a while, and so it took a while for me to be able to get my independence properly, and being from there, I was able to start doing things, start learning more things for myself.
Is it so obviously the have you always been into politics all your life pretty much?
Probably not so much, probably only in the last 10-15 years.
You never really had an input really about politics when you were younger, but was it fair to say that maybe Brexit, like a lot of people, got you more engaged into politics? Is that fair to say?
A bit before then, but yeah, since Brexit, it's gone a bit more stronger. Yeah.
What was it that drove you towards politics? Is it because of things that are happening in your local area of where you've been growing up and life experiences as yourself? Is that what kind of drove you towards a little bit of becoming as you've grown up, into campaigning and a bit more into politics. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, just because there's a lot of things happening in the world which I don't agree with, and it's kind of gone on from there, from what I've been seeing in the news. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's obviously it's sometimes very difficult. Obviously, to talk about
Yeah, definitely.
talk about some of the issues and everything that goes on in the world. And obviously, what you've been. So tell us a little bit about your political history. So what have you always been? What political parties have you kind of been more in tune to, shall we say, as you've
for a while? Before Corbyn was Labour leader, I was started off with the Green Party for a bit, and I switched to Labour. Then I left Labour, and now I'm back to Green Party again.
So you've kind of switched back and forth between the Green Party and Labour for quite a bit.
Sometimes a bit of Tusk as well, the Socialist Coalition Party.
What was it about the Green Party that appealed to you when you appealed to you at first?
More the ethics, and there's some of their values, and like the old animal rights and green issues and environmental issues.
They're something that you've always associated with. Did you become a Green Party member?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I'm not actually involved, but I am a pay member.
Yeah. So was you a Green member before when you originally got into politics and then joined Jeremy Corbyn and Labour?
I joined in 2015. That was like when I first was able to vote.
And then you went. Did you become a Labour member when Jeremy Corbyn was leader?
Yeah.
Yeah. And what's that been like? Obviously, being was it during that time? What did you get to meet Jeremy Corbyn? And
not personally, but I did see him from a distance doing the speeches and stuff.
What was it about Jeremy Corbyn that what was it about him in particular that drove you from Greens to Labour? What was it about him yourself?
I thought he was very interesting because he spoke of pretty much everything I believed in, and a lot of people, and not most of the other Labour MPs, he stood up against the wars and nuclear powers and stuff like that.
You thought he was a voice that spoke for you?
Yeah.
And obviously Jeremy Corbyn's now really become gone from being a Labour leader. Unfortunately, he's now gone to becoming an independent. But is he someone that you still like follow quite closely in politics? Yeah. Do you still ever try whenever does he ever? Obviously, I would say, do you ever still try to go to rallies or wherever he comes near your areas at all? Whenever
I think I've not seen him around for a while, and because I've not been able to get to London because it's too far now from where I am, and train travel is too expensive, so not being able to get up there for the things.
Have you lived in Plymouth all your life, or have you moved around quite a lot?
I'm from Coventry originally.
Yeah.
I moved here about 6 years ago, mainly because of a friend who I met through animal rights in the Midlands, and he's originally from Plymouth. He moved up to Midlands, so he wanted to come back, so I came down as well.
Ah, cool. Joe has a question for you. Just wanted to ask. Was there an event that caused you to get politically active? Was there something really, really in particular at a certain event in time that made you?
Probably when Jeremy Corbyn became Labour leader at that time.
Was it because were you following Jeremy Corbyn quite a bit?
At the time, I didn't know who he was. I never heard of him until people started talking about him. I heard I first heard about it on the Chunky Mark channel back then. He used to follow a lot.
Yeah, and then it's kind of what drove you to, I want to support this man. I really like what he says. And then did you just start watching a lot of videos and things, and did some research into him? Is that a fair thing to say?
So something like that.
Yeah. Cool. Just say hello to Simon says 55. Steve McMahon. Good morning to you guys. Hope you guys are all doing well. So what's your, obviously you have so much obviously going on. What's your take of basically just of politics in general right now with the current UK government and everything that's pretty much been happening?
Stupid, like with the whole winter fuel and the tri benefit, and a lot of Labour's finished, I think.
You think Labour's finished?
Well, as for the working class people, yeah.
What makes you what's drove you to think that? Is it because what things that Keir Starmer has done since he's become Labour leader? Yeah,
everything.
Is it well, the so-called the comments
like
about him so-called
like expelling all the lefts and abandoning the 10 pledges and things like that.
Yeah, because he has changed the Labour Party, that's for sure.
Like with Cara Denier, he says he's changed them into the Conservative Party.
Do you feel like Labour have just? Do you ever think that like there are still unions that support Labour? There is still those that there are still unions that are within Labour that still donate to Labour. Do you not feel that Labour still respond to them in any way, shape, or form, or do you feel that they're just more tied into the same things as the Conservatives? Then do you feel?
Probably, yes.
What? Do you really? I mean, like the thing is that I it's like, to me, it's like I understand how people feel, like, but like given like the last 14 years. Like we do need obviously something a bit different, you know. Is it fair to say that you, like me, voted Green at the last general election? I don't think I could assume you. Yeah, so you didn't vote Labour either. Well, at least you got that on our consciences at least. But yeah, I think I'm with you with that shouted out about the winter fuel payments. I don't think that was absolutely necessary in any way, shape, or form. Nope. But obviously, I think the things about the renter reforms bill, obviously that they're putting through, I think
not too familiar with that one.
No, but I do, obviously, from what I've read, obviously it is a step in the right direction. So there are some things that they are trying to do, but at the same time, you feel like they're not making the as much changes as you would want them to make. Is that a fair assessment as well?
Yeah.
You are out of your effing mind, says Stu.
And I've seen him post stuff on Discord as well.
You've had it's fair to say you've had the difference of opinions with other people about how you feel about politics, yeah. And
I unsubscribed from Politics Social a while ago, and I told Graham to after you were saying a lot of shit about Corbyn.
Well, that's your opinion, and you are entitled to it. I would disagree. I would disagree with that about Graham.
No, I'm not confident you'll change your come under Labour.
No, you don't think. So what would your be solution then in the current political climate then? If we can't because we can't trust the Conservatives, and obviously
Jeremy Corbyn as leader.
Jeremy Corbyn back in as leader,
or Cara Denier.
You think Cara Denier and the Greens?
Yeah.
Obviously, they have four MPs, and obviously, have you looked at all from the Green conference last weekend at the Green Party conference or anything on there? From that,
I didn't even know the conference was on, to be honest.
Oh, so you haven't seen and heard much yet from that, really? No. What's your make of Cara Denier, obviously? So
it's really good. I saw at Veg Fest a few months ago in Bristol.
Did you get a chance to meet her at all, or just hear what she says?
She was on a stage, and I was just on the front seat, so I saw her, but I didn't actually speak to her.
And what did you make of her?
She's really good.
as opposed to obviously hearing them on the TV and whatnot, but actually just being there and hearing what she has to say.
Yeah.
You found her to be quite appealing for and resonates like Corbyn,
Yeah.
shall we say,
Yeah,
resonates a
definitely.
lot
Yeah.
of how your feelings
Yeah.
about things, yeah. And what about some of the other Green MPs like Adrian Ramsey? Obviously, I'm sure you might
Yeah.
have heard
I'm
him
not
a few
sure. I'm not
times.
sure. He was it something to do with wind turbines? He didn't want it.
It was actually so
I can't remember exactly what it was.
it was a story about about some pylons being built in his constituency, and the story is it isn't the case that so the story is obviously is that he was trying to say like that he didn't want like the power being made in his area. What he was trying to imply was like, is there other alternatives to using pylons? And my argument was obviously is that it may be down to the reason why Labour pounced on this and why there are some criticisms of this, which I do which I have given as well, is because
they're now supporting HS2, which is surprising.
I mean, I would have liked HS2 as well, but there's a cost effect to that. But just on that point about the pylons, obviously, and I think Keir Starmer said it in Prime Minister's question was a cost effective point of view. Well, so if obviously, I mean, it would make sense if we could have all the pylons put underground if we could, but there comes a cost to it all as well. So I think that's so as long from that around. Mithril, good to see you. I hope you're doing well. He says they are tinkering around the edges, not attempting to recognise the change to the UK and in particular England. That is my problem with Starmer Pie. I do agree that they're being too favourable to the so-called establishment. I think that's a good way of saying it. They're not doing nowhere near enough that they should be doing on that without a shadow of a doubt. Are there any Labour MPs that maybe?
Well, there are a few, but they've now been suspended because they voted against. Burgon's always has been a favourite of mine.
Yeah. What about John McDonnell?
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah.
Abbott. Clive Lewis. So like he's all right.
Yeah. So there are some. Are there
a lot of the SCG MPs?
Yeah. What about are there any so are there still some Labour MPs? Obviously, you're still like they're okay within the party, or they're just trying to make change. Or do you think of it's a case of some of the Labour MPs as like some of them, rather than going with their conscience, are just trying to make the changes that they feel they need to change within Labour? Is that a fair assessment?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. Simon says 55 says as long as they keep faith in the current system, world progress is impossible.
Right,
yeah. I think we both agree that there is without a doubt there needs to be fundamental changes to the political system. One of the things that obviously they have talked about today, actually, I don't know if you heard about this, but they're looking to obviously stop potentially stopping politicians from being on hosting media shows and whatnot.
Oh yeah,
which
GB
is actually
News and stuff.
Yes, so that would mean David Lammy no longer on LBC, Nigel Farage on GB News.
Oh, yeah.
That would be yeah, and I think that's obviously it's I haven't read into it yet, but obviously that kind of talk is obviously I think something that we definitely
second jobs and stuff.
Yeah, the second jobs. But I would say like, how do you feel about some of them who are working as doctors or nurses, or not working in the media but actually doing other jobs as well, like jobs like that?
If it's actually productive jobs, yeah, helping people, then I suppose that's right. Like doctors, yeah.
Yeah, because the thing is that the argument is some people's position is like, well, that some people should only be doing as an MP rather than doing a second job in any way, shape, or form. Because some people work as consultants in private businesses and whatnot. And obviously, I'm sure you agree with me that we don't want any of them doing any of that whatsoever. But I think that the doctors and nurses thing kind of I'm a bit torn by it, because it's like while I really do appreciate them as for the work that they do, like how can they make time for their constituencies while also doing such
Yeah,
an incredible, difficult job. Do you understand? You know,
yeah.
I'm kind of difficult on that one, if I'm honest. It's time for my daily shower altogether now. Land tax, land tax, land tax. Yes, yeah, there definitely needs to be a land tax without a shadow of a doubt. I
Land
think
shouldn't be a commodity.
yeah. There's definitely taxes that they can definitely do.
Wealth tax.
Wealth tax is definitely the big one that I think everyone gets really frustrated by, without a shadow of a doubt. Jal says, "What do I do? What I do find odd is that the UK is the way they spoke, for example, of Starmer's visit to France and Germany, and how little coincidence they have of it of not being more in exchange of pleasantries."
I'm not sure what you mean by that.
And he also adds, because any negotiations are made at an EU level and not via bilateral deals, and the UK still has the TCA, which is not complying with. Yeah, that's the agreement. Obviously, we still haven't complied with our part of the Brexit deal. Obviously,
Yeah, Brexit was a sham.
Yeah, and obviously, for those who don't know, that the Labour Party have kicked the can down the road on the putting up barriers to our imports, exports, because obviously it would seriously damage our make food prices go up as well. So it obviously drive some people away. Interesting question there. Does England need to declare independence from Scotland? I thought it was the other way around. I thought it was there. That I'm not sure how England can declare itself independent when we have considering the state that we have. I mean, I can see this argument that people would say about, like, I know obviously there are like political groups in the north of England, like trying to break the north of England away
Northern
from
Independence Party.
Yes, that's it. Yeah, they're trying to break away there. That'd definitely be a bit interesting for sure. Giles says the media in the UK are especially idiotic because I've spoken and speak with people in the UK. They are perfect. They are people perfectly consist of the power of change in the EU-UK relations. How do you feel about like British media in general? Like,
I don't really watch much of it, to be honest.
Yeah, did you ever watch like news and whatever at all? Yeah,
not recently. I've sometimes watched a few live streams, but not much now.
Did you ever like watch like because I used to when I was younger, like with my family used to watch the BBC at 6 o'clock or something. Did you ever watch anything like
ITV?
that? Yeah, so you was it when you were younger? Did you ever think that there was anything wrong with watching the news at all?
I mean, when I was younger, probably not. I just thought it was just a done thing.
Was it a case of was it when like YouTube blew up and you know, social media and the internet and whatnot? Was it a case of just like less and less?
Yeah.
And then was it? Did you ever think when you were as you were transitioning? Did you think like the news was already lying to you, or was it just a case of like you found the internet more appealing?
Yeah, I think I found like I get my news mainly from like Twitter and that now.
What was the first like YouTube news or whatever that first came to your mind? Do you remember? Like, because there's so many channels out there now.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, there's just so many you've crossed paths with that you just can't remember.
Yeah.
Cal Vorderman, Phil, good to see you, buddy. Cal Vorderman had a lot to say about the British media. It is the London media. I think that's a very good assessment, especially given.
Get it back in Countdown. Get rid of that Rachel Riley.
I kind of like Cal Vorderman where she is at the moment. At least she's.
Yeah.
I'm glad that she's actually speaking out against Labour, but I kind of felt just like we kind of knew this was coming. You know, that they weren't promising hope and optimism. And I said this yesterday on my live stream. Like I said about how when we were covering the Trump-Harris debate, I was saying about how even though you didn't hear a lot about politics from Kamala Harris, what she was offering was hope and optimism. And you didn't get that from Labour, but you didn't get that from Keir Starmer. But it didn't matter because he knew that. He knew he was going to win because so many people were fed up with the Conservatives.
Yeah.
without a shadow of a doubt. Joe asks, have you ever watched Euro news, French or German news, like any other European news?
A little bit, something, not a lot. I saw. I did watch France 24 for the French elections recently. A bit from that.
Yeah, I mean,
Speaking of it, why did he put that other person in charge when Belenchon won it?
Well, I do. Obviously, I cover some short videos, obviously
Yeah,
from some of them as well. So I guess I should watch. I don't actually watch news from them, but maybe I should actually like.
Something that's a bit of Al Jazeera.
Yeah, Al Jazeera is one I definitely look at a lot. I do think I'm conscious as well because it is very strongly in favor of, obviously, and rightfully so, of what's happening within the Middle East.
Absolutely.
There. But I think Middle East and I is another very good one, I think, as well. On that as well. Mithril says part of the reasons papers like the Daily Hell fundamentally with media studies degrees because they couldn't stand people viewing them with a critical eye. Yeah, I mean, the Daily Mail has been around, the Daily Mail, Telegraph, they've been around for such a long time, but people are so embedded with those papers and that they don't feel like that especially the older generations, they're so used to them. So they don't feel a sense that there's a lot changing with them.
It always gets compilation of front covers blaming migrants and benefits and everything.
Yeah. How do you feel about the whole immigration debate, like the immigration thing that keeps going on and on and on in the news?
Doesn't bother me, and that's immigration is the least of my concerns.
Yeah. Is it frustrating?
There's no such thing as an illegal immigrant, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, 100% agree. 100% agree.
No, there shouldn't be any borders.
No, no, I'm sure you're with me with what Zoe Gardner says about having legal routes for people to be able to come and obviously they should be processed properly like everybody else. Just don't see why is that here. Guys, just want to remind you guys that we'll only be going about another 5-10 minutes or so. Unfortunately, because that's all the time we have, unfortunately. But well, if you guys have any more questions that you want to ask us, please feel free to do so. Guys, if you want to check out Terry Regan's YouTube channel, link is in the description as well. If you ever want to have a check out some of the content that he does on his channel, you're more than welcome to do so as well. Terry, tell us a little bit about some of the work about animal rights. Like, what kind of work have you been able to do around that?
I've been going like some used to go on like marches against animal labs and slaughterhouses and things like that. I've been vegan since 2016.
They've been sorry, go on, carry on.
You know, recently it has been since COVID. It hasn't really been much going on in terms of animal rights, especially down this end.
Do you feel like is it fair to say that not just the fact that since you moved, but obviously, do you feel you need to, if there's obviously trying to find stories about when animals are being harmed and that, if you want to cover it, you have to go.
Yeah, so let's start speaking like with with Labour not ending the badger call like we promised.
Yeah.
And said they're saying we're going to extend. If we were really going to say, "Are you ever going to kill all the badgers?" We've decided not to do that now. Hello? Is he frozen? I think you're frozen, Regan. Okay. Hello? Or was it just me now, is it? Okay. That's good. Talk about what I do now. Yeah, I mean, so basically now I'm just well, yeah, I'm doing the Palestine demos most Saturdays whenever I can, and as long as the weather's good. I've recently started an access course for science in September. Yesterday, just starting chemistry, maybe doing astrophysics next year because astronomy is a good interest of mine. I was thinking zoology, but I don't know about that. So yeah. So I don't know what else to say. Hi, Simon says 65. I'm good. If I'm in charge. Oh dear. So is that it now?
Oh,
hello again. You're back again.
Well, I can't believe that happened.
Yeah, that was a bit awkward.
Yeah, so so in case people wonder what happened, this does sometimes happen. It's very, very rare, but it never happens when I'm live streaming, guys. So the internet cuts out on my computer because it's not. So for people who don't know, it's not a direct internet connection. My computer to the router. So it's actually it goes through the pin free. It goes through a special 3-pin plug that goes into the 3-pin plug down the road that cuts to it, which is a bit iffy if I was to say. But yeah, it's a bit weird. Yeah, Terry was in charge here for a bit there. Jao, do you want to just before I wrap things up, Jao, do you want to just talk a little bit more about?
Yeah, it's basically just whatever I feel like talking about at the moment in time.
Yeah. So yeah, just have a check out. So do check out some of Terry's stuff and leave some feedback and whatnot, guys. What you think of it?
Yeah.
There, if you possibly can, be greatly appreciated. Okay. So obviously, guys, unfortunately, we haven't got. Unfortunately, we ran out of time, so I've come back in time to say thank you guys so much for coming along. Thank you again, Terry, for coming.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it. And hopefully, next time we'll do a chat. Obviously, hopefully we can do one a bit longer, so we can talk about a lot more wider issues or not. But but I do appreciate you giving up your time.
Thank
really
you.
do appreciate it. And we'll talk. I'm sure every now and then you'll try and pop on in the channel in the live streams whenever you can. So guys, do check out Terry's channel. The link is in the description. And just for a reminder, folks, I will be back tomorrow at 6:00 with an episode of Snowflake Conflict. I'll be covering what's been happening the latest in Gaza, what's been happening in Ukraine, and obviously I'll try and catch Sudan and maybe one or two other conflicts as well, guys. So if you guys want to, if you guys got nothing else going on Friday evening, you guys want to come and hang out before Max goes live later on, you're more than welcome to do so. Or if you've got other plans, that's totally cool. But also as well, I'll try and get some premiere videos out for you guys over the weekend as well. But if I don't see you tomorrow, I'll be back on Monday with the Snowflakes viewpoint there, guys. But once again, Terry, thanks for coming along. Thank you guys all for coming along as well. Greatly appreciated. Just before I head out, let me just make sure I get this. If you haven't already, guys, please hit the like button. Be greatly appreciated. Share this across social media so others are notified of this live stream. If you haven't subscribed already, please consider subscribing to both our channels. This really does help support us. And if you want to financially support me in the work that I do here on this channel, you can do so by becoming a YouTube member for as little as 99p. So thank you all so much for watching, and we hope to catch you all very, very soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.